Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to show you how to use this kind of shipping tape. It is like a Kraft tape. I'm going to show you how I turn this into these, and then these I add to these to make fun journal cards using our scraps. So welcome to Bust Your Scraps number 4. All right, I glued these on. I glued this on a little crooked. I couldn't straighten it because of course I used art glitter glue. But this was just a simple little snippet and a simple tag that I had stamped a long time ago. Added the two together to make a journal card or a tag. And this one, this card left room to add some stuff. This was just a inked, I'm not even sure if it was intentionally inked or it was a leftover or wipe off, but I had it in a pile, probably watercolors. And I thought it went great with this piece right here. So let me show you how we get to these using this and simple scraps. Now you've probably seen snippets before, and the way this is great, originally I'd gotten it thinking I could glue the snippets on this side and then use this to be able to glue down. Now the only problem is I found is when I go to open it up and start adding the snippets, this side is really sticky, so it didn't work as well as I thought. But one thing I did find out too, and a little bonus side before I do this, is this stuff rips really easy. Like I said, it's just packing tape for boxes, and here is just a regular journal card. Did I make it long enough? I did make it long enough. And since this rips, you can rip it, like I said, very sticky, down the center to make fun little accents. And we'll get that on there, and we'll get it on this side. Oops. Taking my time because once this is stuck to the paper, it is stuck. Let's see if I can wrap this around big enough to wrap around. If it's not big enough, you can cut it off, but it tends to stick to the scissors and you got to pull it off. But how fun is that for, and if I had my fingers, I probably could have inked that edge a little bit before I put it down. But how fun is that for a journal card? Now I had this little version, and I made one earlier of a bigger one. And this could be, I think this is, yeah, about 5.5. So this would be cute as a little pocket. I'd have to test to see if I can stamp on this side. It is a bit of a slicker surface because it's meant to release this sticky glue like tape is. So I'm not sure yet how I can stamp on this side. That'll be something I test out to see if I can stamp and it stays. I might have to use archival, definitely not oxide inks or distress inks because that would probably rub off too easily, but something a little more archival. Try the VersaFine Clear, but that's a bit wet, so it'll be something to test on that. But I have a lot to test with, but I thought this would be fun. It almost looks like it's inset on there, so very cool. So that's another way to use these. That was not the reason I did that. So I'm gonna find my scissors. There they are, and I'm gonna do my best to straighten this out now that I've ripped it. Even though I guess I could have straightened it out after I put the papers down. All right, so like I said, this is very sticky, so you can do it one of two ways. You can leave it on the roll and put stuff down, or try to cut it off and leave it. But I'll tell you what, you cut it off to leave it, you can't get it off your fingers very easily. So we're gonna just go with that, and we're gonna grab boxes of our scraps. So we got boxes of scraps, and I've got some more of my strips that I used for the last project or the project before that, and in my very little box of the leftover strips for that. So we're going to go from there, and let's see what we got here. Get that out of a shadow. Now the hardest part is probably getting the first one down straight and leaving the edge. So I'm going to try my best to go ahead and let's do it on this side. And I think I got it pretty straight. Okay, so once you got it down, at least you got something to grab onto after that and be able to do some stuff. So we're gonna get our glasses on, and we are just gonna go ahead and put stuff down. Now, you could definitely overlap these, but since they are so sticky, sometimes it's fun just to put the stuff right on the edge and go from there. Now, it doesn't have to be just scraps to do this. You can have very intentional things to go on here. Pictures and any kind of things that you would make snippets from. But once again, this is my scrap series, so I'm gonna do little pieces. Oh, you're not wide enough. Are you wide enough this way? Just ooh, talk about just being wide enough. I like it. I like this one, and I'm going to overlap a little, and I'm going to put that one there, and I'm just going to add some glue to it because it's going to go on top of that, and it'll stick to the snippet part or the tape part, but almost masterboarding it or overlap some stuff. All right, let's see. What can we put up here? Oh, you were not wide enough. I almost missed that one. Should I grab some stuff out first? But that's okay. It's kind of fun to rummage through here. All right, let's. All right, put that down, and then I'll just be able to cut that off later. And I think we're going to just do one more at the bottom. I'll put a little bit of glue here and overlap it just to cover that up and make something straight. Now, if you wanted to keep stuff looking the same and wanted it to be all cohesive, you could just pick all very similar colors, or like this one for me is just being randomly picked. All right. Turn it this way so I can cut with my correct side. All right, sticky tape down. Okay, so we can go to the other side and just cut away what's sticking past it. Now, if you wanted to make a snippet that is rough on the outside, you could definitely do that. Keep the pieces long. There's those kind of snippets. You don't have to cut afterwards. Those are more random size things, not square pieces, I've noticed in the past. Now, one thing I found out is very easy, unfortunately, to cut through this tape. So you get little divots sometimes because you cut too far in, so you kind of got to be a little careful. Okay, and I do have a little bit of tape sticking out the top. So I'm going to cut that off. And I will save that piece. It's a little longer, and I will save that piece. But these little ones are history. Okay, so to make this a little bit stronger, I did go ahead and glue this down to a piece of, oh, what a good guess, a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I did use my Oohoo for that. You could definitely use the art glitter glue if you wanted to, but it seemed to stick well enough with this. All right, put it on that side since there's a glob of glue over there. Okay, do my best to line it up so I don't have to cut too much off. And this is, like I said, just making it a little stronger. If you were just going to take these pieces and cut them down and glue it on something, you probably don't have to do that. But if you wanted to make these into a belly band or some sort of side tuck on a page, I would definitely add something to it, unless you're using very strong papers that you're gluing on there. The only thing is that I did notice, because I'm laying these side by side, there's a natural place for it to break and bend because they're not overlapped as much. So when you add this, it just makes it a little stronger. So you're going to say to yourself, well, why didn't you just start by putting the pieces on this? Well, you definitely could make that, but as you saw, it is so quick to put items on that tape since it's sticky, and you can do it so quickly. Not wide enough, so close. All right, let's get this glued. All right, so what I did with that one is I just ended up cutting the strip in half in a random place, and I think I'm going to cut it in half here, leave part of that grid on one piece and part of the grid on the other piece. So now I've got two separate snippety kind of. So what if you wanted to, you could just keep unrolling this, adding snippets. So I thought about it, and what I said about just unrolling and adding snippets, I decided to do it. So here is that. Here's my roll. So you picture I started the roll and I started putting stuff on there, and I was putting stuff on there, and I just kept unrolling it and rolling it. I haven't cut anything off, obviously. Kept unrolling it, dropped off my table, kept unrolling it, just kept adding stuff. Oops, stuck together. No, don't stick together. Well, you can see how sticky it is. And then I would just keep unrolling it and adding stuff to the roll. So add something, and then let's go that way. Add something, unroll a little more, it would drop off my table. And let's do this one. Trying to keep it straight as I go. If I started getting a little off, I would overlap a little. Like I can see this one is off. So what I can do is I'll throw a little glue onto here, and I'll do my best to make the side line up over here go straight and go from there. And then I want a postcard in the bottom. This one should be straighter, and do that. So let's just say that I'm done, and I'm going to say that I'm done because it's getting long. You can go ahead and trim it at this point. Have your roll, and now I have a roll of snippets that I can go ahead and cut off. I'll fast forward this for you. All right, I'll figure out what to do with those if I want to keep any or lose them, and then I will show you the strips. I forgot to get the beginning part off, the part that's stuck. So, like I said, if I wanted to cut, like, say, 5-inch strips, I could go ahead and chop off a 5-inch strip, call it there, or whatever size I want to do, and have pre-made ones. Or I could just leave this in a nice gentle roll. But I do like the size of 5-inch for those. I might just go ahead and cut those. Unless I want to keep like that. No, I will cut that there. Might be a little longer. This one has a natural bend right here, so I think I'm just going to cut it right there. I still haven't glued these onto anything. All right, I'm going to leave part of the stamps with the front one, part of the stamps with the back one. But as I was saying, I haven't glued it onto anything harder, so they are a little bit more floppy. I'm just going to split this one in half and have a nice tall one. This one is about 7 inches, so this would be a nice side tuck on something. Taller belly bands or cards or whatever, but how fast it was to get a whole bunch of little snippet strips to put somewhere. I did add on this one, as I noticed, this right here, the spacing was really kind of off, so I took one of my like paper thinner washi tapes, not really washi tapes, but you know what I mean, and just glued it down to separate. I think I might glue that one there. I like that. This one is a little too rigid. What would you call it? Similar. It'd be nice to add something in there to divide that up a little bit. Yeah. And again, I can go back and add some washi tape or something to these if I felt like it. Back them onto the thicker cardstock to make them a little stronger, or just wait and see until I use them. But yeah, so I thought I'd come back to show you that little bit quicker way to use these kind of tapes and just keep going and keep adding. And I probably could have went on for just tons more, but I wanted to finish this today and show you and add it to this video, adding snippets, cutting them off, and having these just ready to go to be decorated. Or not to be decorated, just to add somewhere. Put them on a belly band, like I said. You could easily put it, I make it about, yeah, this is about 5 inches wide, almost, oh no, 5 3/4, probably the perfect size for a folded belly band, I would think. I have a piece of folded paper nearby, I do. Yeah, not too bad. Have to cut a little bit off, but you could definitely make belly bands out of these. But like I said, you could also, if you didn't cut it there, you want to make it a little longer and cut it up there. You could make a side tuck, then have a smaller card for it. Or like I did with the other ones, to be able to add to another journal card and decorate from there. That really looks kind of pretty on there. That one would work too. All right, so the next thing I did after I glued those down is I did round the corners just to soften it up a little bit. And it did seem to, it did cut okay. I didn't have too much of a problem. But you got to be careful that you do clean it out, because there is, since you have glue on the back of theirs, it seemed like a couple of them did stick a little bit. So you don't want that to stick in your papers, obviously, or in your punch. Make this one a little bigger. I don't know why. I just feel like it. And there we go. Yep, clean. All right, so I'm just going to take some random scraps I had laying in piles over here and see what tidbits I can add to this. Poise and handle with care. I don't think I want that. I do have these right there. That's a little big. Actually, that would go really nice there. Similar. And I did the other one, I did use washi tape on that also to put across on some places. I like those little squares in there. Just random stuff laying on my desk. I definitely could have put the washi tape on the snippet roll too. I have to try that and see how that works. The only thing is, you really have to put that down there. You really kind of have to hold the snippet roll down. And if you saw how sticky it was, it could be a little bit of a challenge to put that on there. Just straight on the tape, is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's glue this down. Oops. I'll put it down lower. I do like that flower that's up there. Let's do that. Ink that a little bit. And these stamps are ones that I made. They're a little bit thicker, cardstocky, not loose paper. So let's go ahead and glue that there. Oops. Wow, that was a nice flip. Let's do that one. And I'm just gonna nip the edges off. I like to do that a lot. Just makes it a little less new looking to me. And something can be added up there later, or it might even just put a hole in there to make a tag. I think I will. There we go. Get this to cooperate. There we go. A little off center, but that's okay. Put some sort of ribbon up through there. Nice little hanging tag. I like it. All right, so for this one, we're just going to glue paper strip there. We'll put the today up there after I ink it a little bit. this little piece of washi tape with the floral on there. And it might look fun down here. And a little bit of floral. And since I added that, why don't we put another flower through there, maybe, or a butterfly? Or what about a fern? There we go. Or, there we go. There we go. This got like yellow flower in there. I haven't used these ferns in a while. They're washi tape, so they're very see-through, which is kind of fun. You still see some of that through. Yeah, I like it. So there you go. Well, those sure are fun to make. I really do like them. I think I'm going to go ahead and make kind of a pile, but a little stockpile of some of these, this size, undecorated, just to have on hand to add those. So I'll probably show a picture at the end of the video of the other ones that I make if you want to check those out. And yeah, I think those are fun. So I had those and those, all made from simple packing tape, box tape. I don't even know what it's called. I'll have a link below. I bought it off of Amazon. I'll link below where I found it, what it was. If you want to pick some up. Again, there's a ton. Okay, well that is going to be it for today's video. And if you like the video, a thumbs up would be great. I'm hoping you're liking the Bust Your Scraps series. Again, I've said on the other videos, if you have any ideas or thoughts or things you've seen, please let me know and I'll try them out myself and see what I can do for them. I always like ideas. Yeah, not that these snippets are new by any means. People do them all the time. I just thought it was fun to show you how I did them on this packing tape that I have. Yeah, they're cute. I like them a lot. And they're so easy to do. All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by. And I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.